Is here my phone? Not there, right?
No, it's not here. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, Sean. Hello. Hello. It's me. Hi Marie, hello. Hi Amy, hello. Who else is here? Show yourselves. Hello, hello. Outline, topic, sentence, transitions, proofreading assistance, expository composition. Good, good, good. Good, good, good. Alright, who else is here? Mr. Ant-Man. Hello, hello. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. A beautiful day in the neighborhood. I'm going to check for your homework right now. Let's see. Who sent me their homework? Let's find out. I have Sean's homework. Parasite. And Hamilton. In the Heights. I can't read that yet. I don't know the story in the Heights. Alright. Excellent. Excellent, excellent. I have Sean's homework. I have Marie's homework. Characters, setting. Ah. Good, good. Let's check. 50, 50. Anyone else here? Anthony, where's your homework? Amy, where's your homework? Where is your homework? Oh. Ooh. SL. Alright. Well, I have 2 good homework assignments in my inbox. Where are the rest of yours? Amy, Anthony, where is your homework? In the voice of the guy in The Incredibles. Where is my super suit? Where is my homework? How was everyone's weekend? Did you have a good weekend? after you send your homework. Send your homework first. Those of you who send it, let's see. Tell me something you did this weekend. Please. What did I do? I stayed home, watched a movie, practiced guitar, and cooked. Oh, I cooked and I read a book. Cooked and read a book. How was yours? Amy says DP. Wait, what is DP? DP? I have no idea what that is. Is that some kind of slang? What is homework? What is DP? Donut pasta? Okay. Everyone, answer my question. Tell me something you did this weekend. I'm waiting for you. Anthony, hurry up and send your homework. Sean stayed home, watched Parasite, practiced math skills, and read books about architecture. Really? I love architecture. I wanted to study architecture in college actually. That was my first dream. I wanted to do architecture. Then I changed my mind. But I love architecture. That's wonderful. Marie, I did a birthday party because yesterday was your mom's birthday. That's sweet. Good. That's fun. I love birthday parties. Birthday parties. I love my birthday. Birthday is like my favorite day of the year. It's in 2 weeks. You all have to buy me a present. Good. Anthony, Amy, how was your weekend? Answer your question so we can start with the classwork. What kind of architecture do you like, Sean? I like modernist, like Corbusier. Played Nintendo, said Amy. Cool. Good. Alright. Yeah, I want to buy a Nintendo, like a Nintendo Switch or something. Like, I want something I can play on the TV, like with my friends. Mario Kart or something. Mario Party. Let's see, okay, birthday party. Yesterday was your mom's birthday, so exciting. I walked with my dogs. Oh, I finished reading Wonder. Oh, you like Wonder? Good. Oh, where's the book page I'm looking for? Alright. Keep answering the questions. Today we're using LAT book. LAT book. No new homework coming in. So make sure you do your homework. Doing your homework is... Oh. You read the Corsair book. Oh, like the 5 points of architecture? Did you read that one? The one about like 5 points of architecture? Les points d'architecture. I don't know. My French isn't very good. You have a Switch, but you don't have many games? You don't have many games? What games are good? That's what I was wondering. Recommend me a game. What game should I play? Oh, that's really cool, Sean. Wow, good taste in architecture. I like his architecture. He's very forward-thinking. It's very clean and practical and thoughtful design. I really like it. I love architecture. Okay. Mario. What Mario? Mario Kart? Mario Party? Tell me the name of the game. What's good? Marie, did you buy your mom something from her birthday? What did you get your mom for your birthday? For her birthday, Marie? League of Legends. I think my brother plays League of Legends. Both my brothers play League of Legends. They really like it. Actually, they came here, they watched like a tournament here. It seemed really cool. They were on TV. My brothers were on TV when they were here. Okay. I can't find the example of this though. Alright. Mario Party. I like Mario Party. I used to play Mario Party on the GameCube a long time ago. Alright, LAT one. Oh, nothing. Alright. Oh no. Oh, it's okay. Maybe you're too young to buy your mom something for her birthday. Alright, everybody, LAT, page 135. Let's go to LAT 135. Let's go to LAT 135 and do some learning. Okay? It's on the chat. 135. Everyone here? LAT 135. First we're going to talk about taking notes. Important idea. Very important idea. Okay? We're going to brush through that pretty quick. Outlining topic ideas. Everyone there? List of sources. Proofreading, important. Alright. So this page here, let me switch your view. Where's my mouse? Alright. Taking notes. Now, taking notes is a very important skill. Hopefully you've done it before. Maybe some of you haven't. You're all still pretty young. But taking notes is very important, right? Not just when we're listening and writing. Also when we're reading and writing, it's good to be taking notes while we're reading so we can look back and remember. Taking notes can help you remember things. It can help you reference things. So if you have to find some information later, having notes is very helpful. Taking notes can also help you understand things. right? If you're taking notes while you're listening, it can help you to understand an idea because it forces you to summarize and to pull out the big ideas of what's important. Okay? You still, you're late. Who else is here? 7 people here. Who's here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Who are the other 2 people? We got more people watching, but are not here right now. Where are you? Lurkers. Show yourself. Okay. Hi Kevin. How you still? Welcome to my YouTube channel. Please press like and subscribe if you like what I'm saying. Today's class was brought to you by... Just joking. So we're talking about taking notes. Taking notes is important to understand things. It's important to remember things. And we're going to take notes also before writing, right? So we're getting at a higher level. We're now working on things like expository writing, okay? When you are just a young student and you're writing some expository writing, it's often about things you know about already. You don't have to do any research, right? If I ask like a 4th grader to write about space, they're not going to look at lots of different books about space. They're just going to write the things that they know about space. But when you get to a higher level and you start to write more higher level expository things, information about things that you don't know, like off the top of your head, things that you don't have memorized, you have to do research. You have to look at different books. You might look on the internet at different things, essays, scientific papers, to find all this information, encyclopedias, to find the information that you need to write your expository piece. Now, when you do that, you're looking at things from all different sources. It's important to remember where that information comes from. Now, I never talked about this with you in class, but this is a really important idea. This taking notes and citing your sources. We call this citing with a C, citing your sources. Okay? So citing is like naming, saying where you got something, and source, well, source is where you get something. I think you know source. Like the ocean is the source of water. The sun is the source of heat. Where you get something. Okay? So it's really important that when you're writing, you remember what information comes from what sources. Okay? So we want to take notes before we write our big essay. We want to think about the idea that we're getting, where our information comes from, how can we use it. We also want to summarize it. Right? We don't want to copy other books because you can go to jail. Okay? It's a bad idea. So here, we have this note card here, some notes, here's some information about it. So first, the writer labeled the note card to keep track of this information. This card is labeled living things because it is about animals of the Nile River, right? So if this person is writing a big essay about the Nile River, they're going to have different paragraphs about different things. One might be about living things. One might be about the history of the Nile River. One might be about the geography of the Nile River. One might be about art about the Nile River or something like that, right? We want to organize what topic is our information connected to, okay? So we read something about the Nile River, we label it not living things because this is about living things, so that when we're writing our paper, we know how our information is connected, okay? What kinds of animals live in or near the Nile River? Large and small animals live in or near the Nile. The hippo is the largest mammal that lives there. Hippos live in the water. They walk along the bottom and eat vegetation. The Nile crocodile lives there. It is the largest crocodile in Africa. The Nile is home to many birds and fish. One bird, the ibis, was sacred to the ancient Egyptians. Okay? Sacred means like holy, right? Like really, really special. Okay, so this is one example of how to do notes. Okay, we can see here we have the top of the card to keep track of information. We have the question to be answered at the top of the card here. What kind of information we have here. This is if you have like 40 cards before you're writing something long, it's important that we can see what is it about and what the information is about right away. So we know what information each card has. So when we're looking for the information, we can find the right card super quick. All right? Now we have all the important information that answers the question. So this information answers this question. Okay? And the last thing here, the writer recorded details about the source, right? Where they found this information. So we can see this person here. This one was written by someone named J.M. Roberts. Okay, we have someone named J.M. Roberts. This is the name. This is the author, right? Author. This is the title. This is the publisher. And this is the date. Okay. Now it's really important that you do this. A couple of reasons why. One reason is that if you don't do that, if you write your essay and you just copy the information from a book and then you write your essay, you can get in really big trouble, right? Your teachers will not be happy. People can get kicked out of school if you copy books, right? So this kind of it shows where you got the information from, so that people can like trust your information and that people can know you didn't copy it either. They can check. It's kind of like the news. If you watch the news and the person on the news just says something like, did you know that, I don't know, 90% of Americans don't have a refrigerator? That's kind of absurd, but let's pretend somebody says that on the news, right? Do you automatically believe it? Do you just believe what they say? Sometimes you can. Sometimes just believing it, sometimes that's okay. But you should try to think about, where does that information come from? The news company, where do they find this information? Who does it come from? Who said it? And that way we can check, is this really true? Can we trust the person who said this? What if we had this information here about Nile, hippos, and crocodiles, and my source was, I had heard this from my little brother, right? That's not a good source. So this kind of it can show us that the source is good, that we can trust this, and that you didn't copy anyone, okay? So it's really important to do this. Alright. Alright, let's go out of order a little bit. Let's talk about this. Okay, so list of sources. We call a list of sources, there's a fancy word for it, bibliography. But this list of sources saying where you found your information, it's a really important part of writing an essay or writing a paper. Okay? And you have to make sure you do it the right way. First, let's see if we can do this without me explaining anything. Okay? Look at these three, 1, 2, 3, and try to proofread. Does something look wrong in these? Something has to be wrong in some of these. Okay? Let's try to fix it. Let's remember what these things are. Okay? Let's try to proofread. Everyone proofread number 1 first. Proofread number 1 and send the finished one to me. Okay? Or I'll tell you what's wrong. What's wrong with number 1? Did you guys find anything wrong? What's wrong with number 1? You can just tell me one thing that's wrong at a time. You don't have to tell me everything at once. Alright, so we got one here. Yes, forgot to capitalize Nile River. Exactly. Good catch, Sean. The Nile River. Excellent. No date. Oops. No date. Just like me on Valentine's Day. I'm just kidding. Trying to make a joke. No date. 2 things wrong. What else? Anybody see something else? I see one more problem. One more problem on this one. Who can catch it? Who can catch it? Anybody see? Look at this. It has to do with this. It has to do with this. What's our problem here? What's our problem with this URL with the website? I'm missing something. Look at this one. Did you guys find it? No? Do I have to tell you? Okay. It's this thing right here. You see that? We don't have one over here. We need one at the end. This one here. Yes, good. It's like this. Good, good, good. Perfect. Excellent. Sean, you had a good point. Almost. Kind of. There is one more thing. There's a problem with the name also. I forgot to mention that. There's a problem with the name also. What's the problem with the name? It's a fake IP address. This is not an IP address. IP address has to do with your computer, where your computer is and how your computer is connected to the internet. This is URL, we call web address. URL or web address, not IP address. Is this real or not? I have no idea. touregypt.net/magf4a. Let's check. What is it? /magf4a. .html. Oh no. Oh here, tour. No. Okay, so it is wrong. Right here, there's a problem with the name. Marie, just like our Marie in the class, is the first name. Parsons is the last name. So that's correct. Last name first, then first name. We need a comma. Last name, comma. Oh, can I write that here? It's hard to write. Last name, comma, first name. Parsons, comma, Marie. The Nile River, and date. Okay? Let's do number 2. What's wrong with number 2? Everybody tell me. Who can tell me something wrong with number 2? Forgot to capitalize Roberts. Excellent. Roberts, JM's last name. Okay. No quotation marks on the title. Good. It's hard to write this. Oh. Tried to write the publishing company is fake, but it exists. London, Duncan Baird Publishers. Yes, it's real. It's real, it's real. Anything else here? Anything else wrong here? I think that's it. I think you guys found it. Just those 2 things. What number 3? This is... What's wrong with number 3? Who can tell me? What's wrong with number 3? Anthony says no author. Well, if we look here, sometimes articles don't have an author, right? ThinkQuest is the one who wrote this. So ThinkQuest is like the website. Maybe there's not a person listed. Kind of like some of the articles in the Storytown book and stuff. Okay. So ThinkQuest is the name. ThinkQuest is the name of the company that wrote this. So this is fine. ThinkQuest is one word. This is not a problem. This is one word. This is who wrote the story. ThinkQuest is the company that wrote the story. So this is okay. Marie says no quotation mark. Yes, here we have one at the end. We don't have one at the beginning. We need quotations here. Animal life. Okay. Good quotation. And oh, Anthony says no date. Exactly. Date. Great job, everyone. Okay. Now, we're going to go back. Pew, pew, pew. Number 2. So first we did taking notes. Taking notes is important, right? Finding our sources and then taking notes. Next, outlining. I love outlining. Outlining is my favorite kind of organization. It's so useful. You can really see the ideas, how they connect, how they're related. It's wonderful. Being good at outlining is such an important, powerful skill. Okay? It helps make sure that you understand what's a big idea, what's a small idea, how the ideas all compare to each other. Okay? So let's look at this outline here. Oh, what page? Sorry. LA 136. Alright. So outlines. Outlines help you organize your ideas before writing. It's very important, right? As you should know. Research reports should begin with an introduction of the topic. So remember, research reports, that's what we're working on. Research reports should give an introduction of the topic. The writer used information gathered on note cards during the note-taking process to fill in the body of the outline. This outline has 3 sections before the conclusion. That's this one here. Research reports should end with the conclusion of the topic. Right, so we see this here. Here we have 5 major parts. These are probably all paragraphs. Paragraph 1, introduction. Paragraph 2, ancient transportation. Paragraph 3, animals of the Nile. Paragraph 4, Nile today. Paragraph 5, and conclusion, right? So, we see how these ideas are organized. We have 5, introduction and conclusion, and 3 big ideas we are talking about regarding the Nile today. What about the Nile today are we learning about? And for each of these major topics, we have some more things, some more minor topics. So in ancient history, for example, we're talking about transportation and life-giving floods. They're not talking about pyramids or pharaohs or what ancient people used to eat. Actually, maybe they talk about that here. I don't know. Okay, but the big ideas here are transportation and life-giving floods. Nile today also. So today is what's happening right now at the Nile, modern Nile today. 2 things, Aswan Dam and then economic force, right? 2 things here. And now about each of these things, we have some smaller details. So the Aswan Dam, how it affects Lake Nasser, or how it created Lake Nasser, and 2, controlled flooding. How does the dam control flooding? How does that help the flooding? How does that affect the flooding? Okay, why is that important? Okay, so these, we assume each of these note cards here, they probably have 3 note cards, right? One about ancient history, one about animals of the Nile, and one about Niles today. Okay. This time this one here, our example of our example of a note card here is what kind of animals live near the Nile River. This is what we're talking about. And we're seeing here, we have it organized. 2 big ideas with the minor details. Okay? A, A1, A2, B, B1, B2. Okay? So what things are A and B? Remember, we read this already. We read this up on this page. That's this. Same thing. Okay? So we read that here. Let's talk about it. What are the 2 big ideas in this note card? Alright, 2 major details. Okay. What is A and what is B? A is largest animal of the Nile. So largest animal of the Nile. Animals that live in the water and those who are not. Let's see. I want to see some more answers. Alright, Sean thinks that she's right. Largest animal of the Nile. Everybody else, thoughts? Let's read this note again, okay? Large and small animals live in or near the Nile. The hippo is the largest mammal that lives there. Hippos live in the water. They walk at the bottom and eat vegetation. The Nile crocodile lives there. It is the largest crocodile in Africa. The Nile is home to many birds and fish. One bird, the ibis, was sacred to the ancient Egyptians. So what do we think? A could be largest animals of the Nile. B could be what? We have 3 animals, right? This is a good point. Right, what are our 3 animals? We see the hippo, the crocodile, and then we see the ibis, birds and fish, right? So we could have big animals and small animals. Alright. Right, we can see this first sentence here could kind of help us with that, right? Large animals and small animals, right? Here. It's supposed to be an R. Large and small. Great. Large animals, small animals. Now large, we have the hippo and the alligator. And then our small, it looks like one L. Small, we have what? What should we put under small? What should our minor details under small animals be? What should we put here? What does a hippopotamus look like? It doesn't look like a hippopotamus at all. It looks like a big rat. Okay. We have some answers coming in. Birds and fish. fish and birdies, ibis, fish, ibis, fishes. Alright, we should have here a turtle. We have small, here we have birds and fish, right? And then we have another detail, ibis would go under this, right? We talk about birds, and then one sentence after birds we could say ibis, okay? And fish. This is not all of our information, this is an outline, okay? We have to think about organizing our ideas, right? So under each of these things, like under Akhet, flooding, they'll talk about Akhet and flooding. Then they'll talk about Peret and planting, and they'll talk about it. And then Shamu and drought, and they'll talk about it, right? And the large, first they'll talk about hippos and describe the hippos, probably with a better picture than mine. Alligator, they'll talk about alligators. And small, they'll talk about birds. One bird is an ibis. Fish, they'll talk about what kind of fish live there, right? Rainbow fish or carp or something. I don't know. Good. So this is a very important idea, outlining. Super, super important, right? We need to always need to practice that. Always need to work on that, right? Yeah. All right. Next, what I was drawing was a turtle. Is that what you're talking about? How did it even look like a turtle? It looked nothing like a turtle. I meant to draw a hippopotamus, but it looked like a rat. Okay, anyway, writing topic sentences. So, we did our research, we took notes, right? This is research, right? We did our research, we took notes, okay? Here, okay? Writing topic sentences, like what is the topic of our things? We did research, took the notes, we made an outline, so now we have a plan of what we're going to write and how we're going to organize our ideas. It looked nothing like a turtle. What are you, really? A turtle looks like this. Let me draw a turtle. Anyway, okay, writing topic sentences. So we made our plan and we know what we're writing about. Okay, is it a rock? What? A rock? How is this a rock? Not at all. It's a turtle. No one appreciates my art. It's okay. Okay, writing topic sentence. So we have our plan, we have our organization. Now we have to talk about, we have to put our ideas together. Okay, topic sentence explains the main idea of the paragraph. So each paragraph will have a main idea, right? What each paragraph is about. For example, don't mind my art. Okay, here. Each paragraph here, so paragraph 1, paragraph 2, it looks like rotten sushi. Do you eat turtle sushi? Okay, so each of these paragraphs here, each paragraph will have a topic sentence, right? We need a topic sentence to write in the introduction, topic sentence to introduce ancient history. Topic sentence to introduce animals of the Nile. Topic sentence to introduce Nile today. And topic sentence to introduce the conclusion, right? Each paragraph, the main idea needs a topic sentence. You need to explain what the paragraph is about, all right? So these topic sentences here, we have some examples. They'll show how one writer, not you, this is not perfect, I want you to think of one too, okay? How one writer used the outline to create topic sentences for each paragraph in the composition. Oh, by the way, this is LAT page 137. Okay. This is LAT page 137. Here. So here's an example. The introduction topic sentence. The Nile River has been an important river to the people of Egypt since ancient times. Okay. So here we're going to talk about here. It introduces, our introduction to the introduction has to introduce all of this. Okay. What is all of this? Sorry. What is all of this about? Okay. So we see ancient history, animals, the Nile today, conclusion. Seems like we're going forward in time, right? So it kind of fits, it really fits that our introduction sentence is talking about being an important river since ancient times. Okay, we see that about ancient Egypt, and then the animals, and then Nile today, right? Why is it important? This is becoming very messy. Okay, anyway, so we can see a little better. Okay. Oops, I shouldn't have erased that. Anyway, so this sentence introduces the introduction. See, I knew you didn't eat turtle sushi. Ugh, who eats turtle sushi? Anthony. Gross. All right. Ancient history. What sentence will introduce ancient history? Because the ancient Egyptians were surrounded by desert, the Nile River was a life-giving source for them. Okay, so this has two parts, right? We introduce the topic. We're talking about Nile and Egyptians, obviously. But here, we're giving a reason, right? It was a life-giving source for them. Our topic sentence should not just be very boring. This is what the topic is about in this paragraph. Very boring. You should be moving in a direction. You should be making a point, making a claim, right? Trying to connect all the ideas together. What the author did here was looked at, what color should I use? Pink. Okay, was look at the different parts of this here. Ancient history with the Nile, we have transportation and the life-giving floods, right? Transportation and life-giving floods are two important things for ancient Egypt here. And so the author makes this claim here. Has been important, so it was a life-giving source for them. They needed the river for life, right? The flooding gave them food because it watered their crops, and the transportation let them travel around, right? Animals of the Nile. Okay, the Nile River is a giver of life, not only humans, but also to animals. This is an excellent transition, right? We're talking about humans, and then here we build on that. Not only humans, but also to animals, right? Very good transition there. The author goes from humans into animals, right? It wouldn't be so good just to say the Nile River was important to animals, right? Very boring. Or one sentence that says animals live in the Nile. Very boring, right? We want to connect from the previous paragraph. We want to transition into this one. This is a very good one. The Nile River is a giver of life, not only to humans, but also to animals. It's so good. Such a good transition. Okay, keep that in mind. Next, Nile River today. Modern Egypt still depends on the river as a source of life. Okay, you notice here, source of life, giver of life, source of life. This is all tying together the big topic, the big theme here. We're talking about the Nile as a source of life. Okay, and then here, more life-giving force. So here, modern Egypt still depends on the Nile River as a source of life. It's nice to say still because it ties everything together. If you just say modern Egypt still needs the Nile River, or modern Egypt needs the Nile River, it doesn't connect to these other things. If we say still, then we're connecting to the past, right? The Nile has been and always will continue to be a life-giving force in Egypt. Excellent conclusion. That's tying everything together, okay? We want our topic sentences, our main idea sentences to connect everything. All right. Let's have break time now, and after break time, we will continue. Okay. No, wait. I think, no. 8:47. Okay. choice. Alright. Hello, hello, hello. Everybody back? Everybody back, everybody back. Hi Sean. Hi Kevin. You guys all ready? Everybody ready? Everyone back? Hello. Hi. Yes, I am. Yep. Alright. Well, then, we're going to continue where we left off. Pew. Alright. So, we are talking about topic sentences. This is what we were talking about. Topic sentences. I'm going to switch my color. Okay. Oh, you guys didn't get to choose pen colors for me before. Which pen color should I use? Okay. Everybody tell me what pen color should I use. I'll use them in order. Okay, now we'll do transitions, proofreading sources, and then your problem. Okay, super. We'll start with the topic sentences. We were just talking about this, but we want to work on it some more. Okay. Oh, you guys slow on answering. Nobody's answering me. Pay attention. Choose a color. What color should I use? All these options. If nobody picks, I'm going to use this one. Or maybe this one. This is such a boring color. Oh. Ah, Amy. Don't you know that there's many colors? Okay, I'll go in order. Red first. Okay. Alright, so we were talking about topic sentences. Topic talks about everything. Okay? Our topic sentence needs to introduce the whole idea of the paragraph, right? The whole idea of the paragraph. So here our introduction, right? This is the important part of all of it. Right? It's the main idea of the paragraph. Okay. All right. Because it was surrounded by desert, the Nile River was a life-giving source to them. Remember, we talked about life-giving source. Okay. Remember here, this is all connected. We're not just saying, right? It'd be very easy to look at this ancient history and say the Nile River was important in history. Very boring. We don't want a boring one, right? Surrounded by desert, the Nile River was a life-giving source for them, right? This is more interesting. It pushes our narrative along, right? The Nile River is a giver of life not only to humans but also to animals, right? We're talking about giver of life again. Remember, this is a nice transition. This is a nice transition. Okay? Going from animals, or going from humans into animals, right? This is good to reference what the last paragraph was about. I know we're reviewing, okay? Modern Egypt still depends on the Nile River as a source of life, okay? So as a source of life, remember, a source of life still important. This still depends, right? We're connecting, right? So ancient to still transition, right? The Nile always has been and will continue to be a life-giving force in Egypt, right? Oh, what color is it? Blue. Okay, has been and will continue to be a life-giving force in Egypt. Okay. Here we have our conclusion, ties everything together, right? How everything here is important together. It's not to say the Nile is important for Egypt, right? Very, very boring. Has been and will continue to be past. Well, past and future. Just like our ideas here, right? We have past and modern, past, modern, and future, like that. Okay, so let's go here. The first draft of a composition is the first version of the text with complete sentences. The draft below shows how one writer used the outline and topic sentence to create the first draft of the paragraph about animals on the Nile. Okay, so now we are tying together, right, this idea here, starting here, going from here into a paragraph, right? We took this outline, which I half erased, and then now turning, and also this animals of the Nile, right? And now we're turning it into a whole paragraph. The Nile is a giver of life not only to humans but also to animals. One of these animals is the hippopotamus. This vegetable-eating animal lives in the Nile River for most of its life. Its main competitor for dominance in the river is the Nile crocodile. This fearsome reptile is one of the biggest crocodiles in the world. Right, okay, so here we have this, the big idea. Now, here we have our outline example. Did the author here use the same outline structure that we did? Yes or no? Who can tell me? Allergies. How did his author structure their paragraph? Instead of structure, I'll say organize. What is A and what is B? Can you not see? You have your book, right? You can see. What is A? Good. Excellent answer, Sean. Yes. They chose, remember we wrote about hippopotamus. Remember I drew a lovely looking hippopotamus and an alligator. And then we talked about small animals like this was birds and fish. Remember? They didn't talk about small animals at all. They only talked about big hippos and crocodiles, right? Hippo. Crocodile. Okay? So they totally just cut out the birds and fish. Like that. Okay? Alright. Do you see this here? We have a rainbow. Just for Amy. Who's next? Purple. Oh, I was kind of using purple. Purple. Alright. Purple rules. Purple school too. I agree. Alright. So we kind of understand this, right? Making a draft. The first draft is writing our final, or not final, are taking our outline and our topic sentences and putting it together into a whole full sentences, right? You guys have done this before, but it's really important to make it organized like this, okay? We haven't in the past done a very good job of organizing our writing. So I want you guys to focus on this. Alright? Next, we're going to talk about transitions. Now, I talked a little bit about transitions on this past page. Remember, I talked about going from one paragraph to the next paragraph, referencing what was the paragraph about. So, for example, we talked about humans, how the Nile was important to the ancient Egyptians. And then the next paragraph said, what did it say? It said here, not only to humans, but also to animals. right? This kind of but also is a great transition here. Right, we're connecting related ideas. We go from one idea to the next. We wouldn't want to look at this and just say, introduction, the Nile River is a river that exists. The Nile River is in Egypt. Boring, 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 boring. We want to have a reason for writing, right? So we introduce the Nile River. We want to talk about the Nile River was a source of life for ancient and present Egyptians, right? Let's do something important like this, okay? The ancient history here, we're talking about ancient history here. We don't just want to say the Nile River has ancient history. Boring, 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 right? We want to be talking about something more specific, like this. Because the ancient Egyptians were surrounded by desert, the Nile River was a life-giving source for them, right? We're giving it a reason for why is it like that, right? And then our nice transition, here's one nice transition, talking about the past one, not only to humans, but also to animals. And then here, this still is also a transition. We're going from the past into the present, like that, okay? We want to think about these kinds of transitions. You want to be really smart about using transitions. If you use the wrong transition, it makes your writing look bad. And if you don't use any transitions, it makes your writing look really bad. So we really want to think about transitions and think about how to use them and how to use them properly. So we're going to look at today 4 different kinds of transitions. Okay, not just transitions in general, but kinds of transitions. Here's one. Here are some common ones. So here, it's not only between paragraphs, but also inside paragraphs, going from sentence to sentence. Spatial relationships. Spatial, T-I-A-L, is the adjective suffix for space, right? We're not talking about like stars and Jupiter and Saturn and black holes, but we are talking about space as in like real life space, right? In front of, above, behind, through, back, inside, left. These sorts of things are spatial relationships. We're connecting how things are related in space. If you had to describe to me how to, oh, what page? LAT 138. Hi Daniel. Okay, if you're telling me, if you're writing about how do I go to Emart from my apartment, then that will be using lots of spatial relationships, right? You're going to talk about how things are connected in space, okay? Above, behind, through, back, inside, left, things like that. Maybe like medical writing, if you're talking about what is inside a person. Oh, bad drawing. How do I? Here's the head, neck, arm, and we're talking about what is inside them. We have 2 lungs that go to our mouth like this. We have a heart that is beating, and we have a stomach, and we have the liver, and we have 2 kidneys like this, and then the intestines like this. If you're reading a medical book about the inside of a human, then they will talk about, okay, then below the lungs we have the stomach, you know, to the right of the stomach we have the liver. Inside the liver you will find all these little glands that make chemicals, things like that, right? Spatial relationships can be very common in writing like that. Happy person getting cut up for science. Okay. Alright. Time order relationships. What color is next? Yellowish green. Understood. Time order relationships. Okay. Now this is like can be chronological or just general time order relationships. Pretty obvious. This one's kind of obvious, like after, then, now, once, during, meanwhile, finally. I feel like this is one that students are really good at. This one's very, very easy. Plus, smiley face. Easy. Okay, you guys all do these well, right? You can tell me things like directions. First you do this, then you do this. Next you do this. Finally you do this. Things like that, right? Now, some of these ones are a little harder, things like meanwhile or once, things like that. I want you guys to practice using the more complicated ones and not just write like first, second, third, next, then, last, like that, okay? Let's use more complicated ones. Next is cause and effect relationships. What color is next? White is next. Okay, I'll try my best. Cause and effect relationships are really, really important. You need to know how to use them well, okay? Everybody can use cause and effect relationships, but it's hard to use them in the right way to make your reasons really clear. Things like so and therefore and because of, due to, for this reason, thus, it is evident. I feel like most people are good at using so and because. We don't see a lot of these other ones, right? We want to be really... Okay, this isn't working. We want to be really clear about about these sorts of things, about the cause and effect. This is really important skill to be able to do, to make clear cause and effect sentences. Okay, I want you guys to try to use these things like for this reason, or thus. Okay, therefore, very powerful ones like this. Our last one here. This is the hardest one for students to use, and it might be the most important for you guys to learn. What does this mean, no color pen? Let's use a big one. Which one should I use? I really like this color. Okay. Alright. This one's important. Good God. Okay, that's not gonna work. Let's try that again. This is important. Okay? I want you guys to really, really work on these, okay? To be able to write good compare and contrast sentences, okay? Like and unlike, instead of, similarly, on one hand, more than. These require usually that you write longer, more complicated, complex sentences, which I want you guys to practice, okay? Here we are. Here's an example of using transitions in a sentence. We're going to look at the transitions. We're going to talk about why we use them in this example and what kind of effect do they have, okay? Let's read it together. Don't just listen to me read. I want you to read out loud while I am reading. Good to practice your reading. I'm going to stay on this color because I like it. Okay. Ancient history. Because the ancient Egyptians were surrounded by desert, the Nile River was a source of life. The Nile provided fish for food as well as strong, sturdy reed, papyrus, that the Egyptians used to make boats to sail up and down the river. The ancient Egyptians could transport themselves and their goods across and up and down the river. The Nile, however, was more than just a way of transporting people and goods. It also gave the ancient Egyptians land to farm on. It seems odd to look forward to a flood, but that's just what the ancient people of Egypt did. The time of flooding was called Akhet. When the Nile flooded, it brought up silt from the riverbed. Silt is a kind of dirt. It's a very thin dirt. There's lots of nutrients stuff in it. here. This silt was rich in minerals. It provided fertile land for farmers to grow crops in the desert. All right, what are our transitions in this, right, these two paragraphs? Okay, what transitions does the author use here? Please tell me. What transitions does the author use here? They are using thinking G. Oh, you're saying thinking G? This is gangster in here. What is that? Bruh, I'm thinking G. What's good? All right. Marie says cause, effect, relationships. Good. Be specific. Be specific. What cause, effect, relationships do they use? Okay. What cause, effect, relationship? What kind of transitions do we have here? Okay. So because. Yes, there is because. Let me use a different color here. Which one should I use? Use this one. Because. What else? Thinking. Thinking G. Me too thinking. Alright. More than. Where's more than? Oh. Anybody else? Alright, so these are the big ideas. We just got some of them, okay? There's a little bit more, okay? So here we have this clause here. Because the ancient Egyptians were surrounded by desert, the Nile was a source of life, right? We have cause and effect. Pretty clear, right? Okay, that's pretty clear. It's a nice beginning here. Starting out with a cause and effect is very nice. It's a strong sentence. It makes us interested in the paragraph. All right. Now this one here, we have a couple things. This is one, right? More than, and then also, right? This is like a pairing. More than and also. This goes together. The Nile was more than just a way of transporting people and goods. It also gave the ancient Egyptians land to farm on, right? We have kind of adding more information. What's really important here is we have this kind of contrasting one here, right? This is a contrast transition, right? Here we talk about one thing about the Nile. They could transport themselves and the goods up across down the river, okay? The Nile, however, was more than just a way of transporting people and goods. It also gave them land to farm on, okay? This is a critical transition here, right? We're talking about one thing that's good for, and they're saying, however, it's more than that, it's also this, okay? This is a very, very important part of writing this sort of compare and contrast use. Alright. Any questions? Any questions? Can we move on to the next part? You guys understand this? I want you guys to think about this. I'm going to have you guys use compare and contrast. Okay. Anybody else submit their homework during break also? Let me check. Do you get any new homework assignments? You guys send anything new to me? Or do I still only have 2 homework assignments? I still only have Sean and Marie's homework assignments. Okay, the rest of you need to do your homework. Make sure you do your homework. Alright, then we're going to go on. If no questions. Expository composition. Composition means writing. Expository means giving information about a subject. Information about a topic. Okay? Now, here's a sample prompt. Let's talk about this. Writing what a prompt. I'll read this for you. The Trojan War was a 10-year battle between Troy and the city-states of Greece. Think about some causes of the Trojan War. Write an explanation for the reasons for this war. So we look at this prompt. Here's our prompt here. We think about what is the topic of the prompt. The Trojan War is the topic of the prompt. Narrow the focus of the prompt. Causes of the Trojan War, which words tell us how to write about it. Explanation tells us how. Write an explanation. Okay, this is an explanation about the causes of the Trojan War. Okay, it does. Alright, so you're thinking about this, making the prompt, writing about a topic, the Trojan War. Do you guys know about the Trojan War? Let's think about some subjects you're interested in. Everybody, tell me a topic that you're actually interested in. I want you to about. So I want you to write about something that you find at least a little bit interesting. Okay? So you tell me a topic, and then I'll tell you what to write about it. Are you interested in the Trojan War? You can write about the Trojan War. Are you interested in architecture? You can write about architecture. Are you interested in video games? You can write about video games. Are you interested in the history of chocolate? You can write about the history of chocolate. But you need to tell me a topic so I can give you a prompt. You're going to have to do a little bit of research. All right, we've got a first taker. Sean says modern architecture. Marie says Corona-19. Amy says, Amy is interested in Buddhist chanting. Oh, Amy is interested in drawing pictures. All right. Okay, so let me think of some prompts for everybody. So modern architecture. What can we write about modern architecture? Composition. So modern architecture. Okay, we can be pretty straightforward, kind of related to. I got it. Gio is here. Okay, let's see. You're going to have to do some research on these subjects. Okay, so Sean, you're first. Sean. Sports and esports. Oh, all right, we're getting some stuff. All right. Let me give you each a prompt on the subject. Sean, modern Okay, I'll just give you one question. Okay, right. Explanation. Explanation of architecture different from previous. Write an explanation of the defining characteristics of modern architecture. Defining characteristics. How can I change this? I want to be specific. I want you to have something kind of interesting. Write an explanation of. Yeah, I'll do that. Okay. Right. Defining means like the most important things that make something clearly modern architecture. Okay. It's kind of open-ended. You can change it a little bit. Basically, I want to know the general ideas. How is modern architecture different from previous architecture styles? Like, how is it different? What are some things that's special? You don't have to write about all the defining characteristics. Maybe pick like 3 defining characteristics. Okay. Marie's going to write about what? COVID 19. Okay. Marie, you can write about. Okay. Cause explanation. Ooh. Lots of different things to write about this here. Okay. Can we do this? No. Well, we're going to do compare and contrast next, okay? We'll do explain. Add on. Okay. Amy. Drawing pictures. That's art. What can we do about that? Explain. Drawing picture, explain. We do illustration styles or I don't know very much about drawing pictures. I like to draw pictures, although it seems my pictures aren't very good because you thought my hippopotamus looked like a turtle. So let's see, what kind of expository can you write about drawing pictures? Explain. What about drawing pictures? What can we do? What can we explain about pictures? I'm thinking 2 complex things. Explain how a picture can show someone's personality. Explain. That sounds like persuasive if I do that. Explain. No, I don't want it to be compare and contrast either. So explain what about pictures? What can we explain about pictures? I can't say something like explain the process of drawing pictures because that's really too straightforward. I'm gonna come back to you. I'm gonna think. Geo. I'm gonna think. Geo. Explain the process of creating animation. Either previous. Oh, that sounds like technique or digital. Okay. You steal. Okay. Soccer, basketball, or cycle. Explain. Explain the effects of professional sports on economy. Anthony. Explain how esports are. I don't want it to be compare and contrast. Explain what can I do? One about drawing, one about esports. Explain the esports. Explain. I don't know what to explain about it. I don't know anything about esports. Explain esports. It sounds simple, but I don't know anything about esports, so it can be pretty general. Just explain esports to me. Okay, so now Amy, explain about pictures. Drawing pictures. Explain. What about pictures do you like? This is your homework. Okay. Okay, so remember, look at these. Look at LAT 135. One 136, 137, 138. When preparing your essay, research your topic. Research your topic. Take notes. Okay. Write down your sources. Make an outline. Then outline and the all right. All right. How's everyone doing? Everybody understands their topic? You got it? Alright, everyone understand what they're writing about. You guys all understand your homework, right? Everyone understands their homework. Everybody say okay. Everybody understands their homework. It's time to go. It's time for class to finish. Okay. Alright, make sure you do your homework this time. Ugh. Sean, you didn't ask me for a topic either, right? Sean, you also read about the Trojan War. Okay. If I didn't give you a topic. Alright, then that's it for today. I hope you have a good week and stay safe and wash your hands and eat healthy food, sleep a lot, and do your homework. Make sure you really, really do your homework. It's an important part of this class, okay? I'll see you all on Friday. Goodbye, 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 goodbye. Have a good week. Have a good night. So long. Farewell. Adieu. Gute Nacht. Buenos noches. Good night. Okay.